are the D-Day Dodgers out in Italy. Always on the vino, always on the spree. Eighth Army Scroungers and their tanks. We live in Rome and run the Yanks. We are the D-Day Dodgers in sunny Italy. We landed at Salerno, a holiday with pay. The Jerry's brought.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Ww2 Italian campaign Facebook page. My name's Warren, and as I'm sure you've seen of late on the Facebook group, we have been trying to get some talks with members of the group online, whether they are about ties of family connections to the campaign or just an interest in that part of the Second World War itself. Had a few now, and they are going amazing. We've got some really great members of the group to talk to, so there should be plenty to come hopefully. And this is one I recorded the other day with Joshua Oswald, a truly great man, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for joining me, Josh. So if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself, and more importantly where it is you are situated at this moment in time.
Sure. So my name is Joshua Oswald. I'm an American living in southern Italy. I'm actually a retired U.S. Navy combat veteran. Amazing. And so after we retired, we had the offer to have a job here in near Naples, Italy. And so we moved to southern Italy, just outside of Naples. It's about 30-45 minutes away. And we wanted to live in a place kind of out in the country, away from the craziness of Naples. And we found the town of Caiazzo. It's way out in the country, kind of up on a hill. It's, we're surrounded by mountains. Yeah. We really fell in love with it. And it was while we were here, we started to get to know people and meet the Italians and locals and make friends. And the Italians here still celebrate significant events around World War II, and to remember the actions of the Allies and stuff. And so as we lived here longer, we started seeing these things and started participating in them. Yeah. And it really started piquing my curiosity about the history of this whole area in World War II, and why is it so significant for them that they still do these celebrations and remembrances 80 plus years later now, or 82 some years later. 83. And that got me pulled into a nonprofit organization where now I'm a member of. I'm part of the research team, as well as part of the it's a metal detecting team where we discover artifacts and find things in the ground and where some of these major battles occurred, and then work through other organizations to repatriate those items to surviving family members. Oh, that is amazing. So you're smack bang in the middle of the Volturno line. I can look out my bedroom window right now and I can show you the Volturno River. Oh, wow. The two mountains where the Germans had machine gun and mortar positions set up to shoot towards, it's really the direction of Naples, to the Allied forces who were on the other side of the river, who had come up from Naples and had approached the Volturno line, and they started meeting resistance. So basically I live on what was then the German side of the Battle of Volturno, and I can see the entire battlefield from my bedroom window. Well, it's not a bad view to have at all. And you've got kind of the American sector to your east, and 10 Corps. I'm in pretty much the edge. I'm really at the edge of the American sector right now, where 5th Army and the 3rd Infantry Division had. Both 7th and 3rd Infantry Divisions had their sectors for this side. And about maybe 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers just to my east is where the British, Canadian, New Zealanders, and I think even some Gurkhas were located. When they crossed the Volturno River, they're about 10 kilometers just east of me. So you've kind of got where the actual river crossings were. You're kind of in that, because was there 3? I believe that the Americans established early on. The Brits, we didn't get across as quick as the Americans did, but you're pretty much there, aren't you? Yeah, so one of the primary locations is almost quite literally right outside my window, directly across from me.
Yeah.
But then the other two crossing points are at what's called the Triflisco Gap,
Right.
which is further away. I can still see from here, but it is further away. And then there was another crossing at what's really referred to in all documents as the hairpin turn.
Right.
That's exactly what it looks like. In fact, our organization was just there yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Doing some research where a tank destroyer battalion and a tank battalion were located, and were firing across the river to provide cover for the units as they were doing their crossing, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning in October.
Yeah.
43.
Yeah. So how wide is? I mean, obviously it's changed. It changes a lot, but how wide is the river at present? Because I mean, it was 100 meters wide for the Brits, 70 meters wide for the American section. So it's a big river, quite an obstacle to cross.
Yeah, it's a very, and that's I guess the strange part. It's a very wide river. It is very wide. It's also very shallow.
Right.
And so even for us here living today, it doesn't take much to flood it.
Right.
There could be any heavy rains just upriver from us, and eventually by the time it comes down this way, that river swells very quickly. Yeah. Which is what the Allies did experience as part of their opposition to crossing. It was cold, it was windy, it had recently rained and flooded.
Yes,
and that presented an incredible obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, they done well to get across, because in reality it was quite a quick crossing. The Americans made a fair bit of ground, nice beachhead within the first day of the main assault, was it?
Right, and that was, and this is something interesting we've discovered through a lot of our research, was that this was the very first time that the United States Army had to conduct an opposed crossing of a shallow river at night.
Okay.
This is the very first time in U.S. Army history. And so they really weren't sure how to do it. So leading up to the actual assault on October 11th and 12th of 1943, they had run several probing patrols across the river for several days prior.
Okay.
And it was through that they started learning that sometimes the bank is incredibly steep. Sometimes it's incredibly shallow. Sometimes it's a mix between. Sometimes it's rocky. Sometimes it's muddy. Sometimes it's sandy. Like, there's no consistency to this river whatsoever.
Right.
And they spent a lot of time sending soldiers back and forth on reconnaissance missions.
Yeah.
And just trying to discover the enemies on the other side.
Yeah, of course.
But the river was the one obstacle that they just could not figure out very well.
Forever changing, Well, it
was constantly changing no matter where you went. Yeah, and exactly. If you go to the British and Canadian sector where their crossing was, it's a completely different river. Yeah. It's rocks.
Okay,
it's rocks and it's mud and it's steep embankments.
Yeah.
But then you get to this side, and it's mud and marsh and sand, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have made it any easier, but it's. I mean, I believe from what I know, the main crossing points were established in the American sector. So I wonder if the landscape played a role in that, and that's why it wasn't so easy for the Brits to. Because I mean, the Brits kind of went out and around the river a little bit in their sector to get the beachhead. But I wonder if the landscape there itself made it not easier for the Americans, or if that played a part in why their assault got across quicker than maybe other areas of the river,
Yeah, I think because I think also the mentality of the armies was slightly different at the time. Yeah. So the American army is, especially at the time, not so much today, but a little bit at the time, was you throw bodies at the problem.
Right.
And so that was the idea, was just get a couple of soldiers across with a tow line or a tow cable, and then everybody else can just hand over hand across it. But in their reporting, they talked about how many soldiers could not swim, how many soldiers could not make it across with all their gear on and were washed downriver and were never seen again.
Yeah,
they are still listed as missing in action.
Really?
And so even part of our organization is working with the Joint Personnel Recovery Agency to help with those searches, right? So things like that.
Oh, wow.
Right, so that was on the American sector. On the British sector, they saw a river and they said, well, we need boats.
Yeah.
And so the British and the Canadians, they got their hands on a couple of boats.
Yeah.
And there's even photos through NARA and I think Alamy and a few other websites where you can see the British and Canadians rehearsing and practicing their boats and how they're going to row in unison across this river.
Yeah.
Super smart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
well,
that was that made sense. Like, why don't we just get our boats or dinghies and just go across the water?
Yeah.
And the problem being that those boats could only hold 6 or 7 soldiers at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
They had to go back across the river empty and then make it back with another, small platoon or an element. That's all you're going to fit at a time.
Yeah, it's making it easier, but twice as hard at the same time. You're doing twice the crossings.
Yeah, so it took them longer.
Yeah.
But they lost way fewer soldiers doing it.
Yeah.
Just through not losing equipment, not losing people to drowning or getting washed downriver.
Yeah, yeah.
However, on the American sector, they just said, okay, keep throwing more platoons, keep throwing more squads at it.
Yeah, yeah.
And eventually we'll get enough people on the other side to, establish a beachhead.
Yeah. And
start providing cover fire and ropes to cross for everybody else.
Make it easier. Yeah, but it kind of shows the lack of communication between the two, well, not just two nations, but the thought process that went into it. It could have been shared and made as easy as possible for everyone, rather than. Yeah. But then again, like you say, it was the first attempt for the Americans.
Yeah, and unfortunately, from what I understand, and this is just my analysis, being a veteran myself, the Allies were moving so quickly from Salerno up to Volturno.
Yeah.
There were no headquarters here. There were no airfields even in Italy yet at the time, not even in Sicily. Yeah. All the bombers were having either come from Africa, from North Africa, or from the one airfield, I think it was Foggia.
Yeah, Foggia.
That the British had opened up already by that time near Bari.
Yes.
And that was it. They were moving so fast up the boot that supplies weren't here yet. And the idea was like rush.
Yeah.
Get Jerry on the run.
Exactly.
Get him to go. Yeah. Push.
Yeah.
And it was kind of that mentality through a lot of the reporting. And so when you have this occurring on a battlefield where, that's what you're trying to do is get the enemy on the run and keep them on the run.
You've got momentum as well.
That communication effort, kind of breaks down. And where we later see during this crossing, some of that communication coming into play is that the British had intercepted communications and intelligence over the radio that German tanks were going to be reinforced to the American crossing sector near Triflisco.
Okay.
And so they were able to pass that information and intelligence, and the tank destroyer battalion and the tank battalion that was in place was able to respond to that and then have it out with those half tracks and those tanks.
Yeah, so there was that communication.
The communication was there.
Yeah,
the communication was there, but a lot of the coordination was just lacking because they were just going so fast.
Yeah, and like you say, it was their first attempt at crossing.
Right. Yeah, like the U.S. Army, this is not what they trained for. This is not what they had expected.
Yeah.
All of the units that were involved with the crossing with 3rd Infantry Division, this isn't part of their training at all.
Yeah.
And so for them, all those units having come up from Africa, open desert, Sahara, Tunisia,
quite different.
The rocky, dry, heated area of Sicily, landing in Salerno, and then all the mountains of southern Italy. Right, this was completely foreign and unknown to them.
Yeah, but they done extremely well to get as far as they did, as quickly as they did. Then, really, considering lack of communications and being first attempt. So when you do your metal detecting around the area, do you cover both sides? You do both banks of the river, and I should imagine you find all sorts there.
Yeah, we try to cover as much area as we're allowed. So by Italian law, which is what we have to observe first and foremost,
Of course.
by Italian law, we have to research who the landowner is for the area we want to conduct our research and excavating and digging in and searching in. And then we have to get their expressed written or verbal permission to be on their property.
Yeah.
So it has to come from a citizen of that area.
Okay.
And this is where we do run into a lot of difficulties, because we do come across where nobody's fully sure who owns that land.
Yeah.
It's been abandoned. It's, nobody knows who owns it.
Yeah.
So anything we discover there, if we were to go on there, anything we discover there, now creates a legal barrier and a problem.
Yeah.
So that hinders some of it. And then the other thing we come across it from time to time is that the owners of that land don't want anything discovered.
Right.
And so they don't want us there.
Okay.
And so we do try to impress upon them the importance of the research and the work that we do and telling the story.
Yeah.
And what it means to the local community, especially around Piana di Monteverna, which in World War II, the town was called Piana di Caiazzo.
Okay.
Now it's called Piana di Monteverna.
Right.
So we try to impress upon them the importance of getting the story told, of doing the research, of the museum and the artifacts that we're trying to hold in there.
Yeah.
And we just come across some people that they don't want that story told, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a common response as to why they don't, or they don't want it? Simple as that.
I think it's more that they don't want us and our team on their land.
Right.
Probing around and looking around for stuff.
Yeah, which is a shame.
It's a bit about privacy. They don't know us. We don't know them. But I'm asking for permission to be on their land.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I kind of understand both sides of it.
Definitely. Yeah, Italy is definitely a culture where personal relationships with knowing somebody goes so much further. Right. And gets you so much more to a yes answer to a question than anything. Yeah. And so what we end up doing is having a network and finding a guy who knows a guy who might know a guy who knows the guy who owns the land.
Yeah.
And just to go that way. And that takes ages to build those relationships, to make those friends, to tell the story of why the organization exists and do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Just so we can get permission just to get on land where maybe we find something, maybe we don't.
Exactly. So you could go through all that and end up with nothing.
With nothing. Yeah. We just went out yesterday, and we were on the riverbank on the American sector, on the American side.
Yeah.
Where the tank divisions had crossed, and we found one or two artifacts.
Yeah.
Like a part of a belt buckle from a backpack.
Oh, okay.
And some tracks for like the artificial airfield stuff that they would have used to cross and go down the muddy bank and all that.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is it.
Yeah. It's better than nothing.
Nothing, no identifying things, nothing.
Yeah. And so what do you do when, say, you come across something significant, or, I mean, it's all significant, but something that is a bit unusual to what you normally find? What do you do with it then? Do you have a museum that you work with, or is there somewhere you store it? Well,
so the things we come across are quite unusual and strange. So we've had permission to search an area that was an old Army field hospital. And during that search, we found the trash pit that they created, where they would put all their trash and stuff in. And we found ink wells that still have ink in them. To this day, they still have ink in them.
Oh, wow.
Right, so it's very unique. It was like, oh, man, it still has India ink in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we put that on display.
Oh, amazing.
But then we were in that same field hospital area, and we came across dog tags of American soldiers. And we're like, oh, man,
that's a big
this
one.
belonged to a soldier. So now are there more personal artifacts around here that we need to look for? So now we look more intently and intensely in some areas, and now we sector our metal detectors for very specific metals.
Yeah.
You know, so we find those things, and then we work through an organization in Rome that helps us do the repatriation of those materials by finding surviving family members. And amazing. They do the historical research on the likely name and the unit that person belonged to at that time while they were here. And through that, they give us the listing of possible family members. They reach out to them. If they're interested in this artifact, would they like to see it or know more about it?
Yeah.
And so we go through other organizations to help repatriate personal items if it has like a name and identifying information on it.
It's still a big job.
Same with the Canadian medical bracelet that we found.
Okay.
We'll work through that organization to then contact Canadian authorities and find the family in Canada to get that bracelet back to them.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing work.
The surviving family members.
Yeah. Oh, that is amazing. Yeah. But it's, we do, one of the members of our Facebook page, Eddie O'Sullivan, he's part of an organisation called Freedom for Italy. And they're trying to get all the museums in Italy to be more in communication with each other, because he said there's quite, not a block, but they don't, maybe it's the Italian way, they don't tend, well, I've got my museum, I don't really need to talk to him about his museum. So what they're trying to do is get everyone sort of on the same page and sharing things like that, which will no doubt lead to finding more families past, getting things brought to light where maybe they wouldn't be if they were just kept in that one museum. You know, they might put it away, store it, put it on display, but no one else really finds out about it or talks about it. So that's another great
that's
foundation.
Right. Yeah, our organization has worked. I think that's what makes. I haven't even said the name of the organization.
Yeah.
Our organization, the Linea Volturno 1943. So it's Linea Volturno 1943.
Right.
The Volturno line 1943.
Yeah.
Our organization works very closely with neighboring organizations that do something very similar, where they search for artifacts and historical records of things that have happened in their area. And we work very closely with them. We work very closely with the group in Anzio that has a museum and artifacts up there as well, because so many of the units that landed at Salerno and in Naples and came to Naples, they were all part of the landings at Anzio.
Yeah, same as my
some of the
granddad's.
units that came to here were part of the battle at Monte Cassino.
Yes.
So we work very closely with the organizations in Salerno, with Anzio, and some of the local ones that happen around here. And if I think to kind of answer your curiosity is really that so much time has passed that the connections that used to exist to keep every one of those connected, those people have passed on.
Yes.
And then they've turned over their stories, they turned over their artifacts to their surviving family members.
Yeah.
And the surviving family members they hold on to it.
Yeah.
It's it's a memorial piece that they had of a bygone era of a family member, or something that happened in their area that, they weren't a part of, they didn't experience, but their family member did.
Yeah.
Very similar to what we see on Facebook of people posting memorabilia and pictures of their family member, usually their father or grandfather, who served. Usually it's at Monte Cassino or Anzio.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all they have. And I look at all of these pictures, and I think to myself, why isn't it in a museum?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that not stored anywhere?
Yeah.
Why is it that we as an organization, when we try to do our research on the maps that were used, on photos that were taken during that day, the vast majority of the collections of pictures are actually being held privately.
Yeah.
There isn't a huge repository of them. And even for the United States side, the photos that were taken, somewhere between 10 to 15% of the photos that were taken for the campaign in the Naples Foggia campaign.
Yeah.
Only about 10% of those are digital.
Really?
The other 90% of those are still sitting physically in a warehouse in Maryland.
Yeah.
In Maryland, in the United States.
Yeah.
So the only way you can access them is to go there physically and request to look at it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same with our Imperial War Museum. There's so much footage, photographs that probably will never see the light of day unless someone goes and requests that file to see those photos. And it is a shame, but I mean, they are starting to digitalise a lot more of it, and a lot more of it is becoming accessible. But one, there is so many, but two, it's finding the people that are interested, you know. So that's the main reason for the Facebook page that we started. Is although they may just be photos that are put on the page, short caption, and then forgotten, at least they're going to be there if someone manages to go back through and find it. And we will eventually get a website up and running and try and store it in a more easily accessible way, but it takes a lot of time to do that. But if people don't start sharing and displaying their photos and showing more interest, then they will never be seen, unfortunately. But it's great work that you're doing out there, especially the contacting family members and stuff like that. It's really something that should be done, because they deserve their story told as much as the next one, you know.
Yeah.
So
I see the only other conflict I see in all of this is my other primary role in the organization is to be the English speaker and the person who can translate English documents, English written language documents, into Italian for them and help them understand mostly American. I'm most familiar with the American military service symbols, the map symbols, our rank structure, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
To help translate that for them,
right? Because
it doesn't make any sense to them, right? That even though a significant portion of the guys on our team are Italian Army veterans themselves,
right?
The very few of them worked with the U.S. military. Yeah. So they don't really understand our organizational structure, symbols on charts, maps they don't understand. So I help translate a lot of that, especially equipment and all of that stuff. I think that's also a missing piece, because sometimes they find things and they're like, I don't know what this is. This will take deeper research, and then time goes on. Maybe they don't get an answer to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then after I joined the organization, they were like, Josh, tell me more about this. What does this symbol mean? Yeah. And I was like, oh, because it's a square and it's got 2 dashes on top and it says 601 and it's got TD in it. That's a tank. That's a tank destroyer battalion.
Yeah. Which that's amazing. Yeah, that they've got that now.
Right, so not all organizations have that here in Italy. In fact, incredibly few. Yeah, very, very few have anyone experienced enough to help them explain what it is they're even looking at.
Yeah, well, they're probably they're kind of like myself, just amateur historians or people with interest. It's same as me. I had this massive interest, but I don't have all the knowledge. No one will have all the knowledge of World War II, of course, but there's so many things that I have to research myself, and that again takes a long time. And by the time you get to the bottom of that, you've probably gone down several other rabbit holes along the way, So it takes a long time, but you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. I will say that. Sounds amazing what you do. And if there's any links or Facebook pages or anything about the organisation, feel free to definitely post it on the page, and again, spread the word, and maybe some more information will come to light out of it. We never know, but fingers crossed. Anyway, it's been great speaking to you.
Thanks, Warren. Yeah, we absolutely will. And having your Facebook page so dedicated.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Really do. Wrap it up now, Josh. And it's been great talking to you. And like I say, share the organisation on the Facebook page. All right, mate. All the best. Thank you very much.